Morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iorifo. I hope you're enjoying the second day of your holidays. We were together yesterday. You were on holidays. I was here. Here's the second day. You're still where you are, still doing the second day of enjoyment. Nothing spoiled. Barka di Salah. Okay, but we have to get down into business. Workers. That's where we'll be kicking off from this morning. Workers' welfare. And we talk a bit about the law that encompasses that whole subject matter. It's been going from the late 50s, originally the Factories Act, but it was addressed by way of review in 2004. Still, you recall that when we were looking at the whole taxation issue, one of the things that we were told at that time was that those go back to colonial times and hardly they're not relevant anymore. Well, we have a similar situation here now with workers' welfare. The Factories Act 2004, is going to be replaced by a more relevant law. And the expert to talk to us about this has been working on this from 2005 is Mrs. Funmi Adegbola. She's consultant, Federal House of Representatives, Committee on Safety, Standards and Regulations. Good morning, Funmi.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on.
We're delighted to have you, especially when it concerns workers' welfare like that, because everybody is concerned.
Absolutely.
If you're not a worker yourself, there are dependents of workers that concern you. Now, as I hope I didn't muddle it up too much, the original act that was enacted in 2004 itself was coming from the 50s, you were telling me when we were speaking before coming on air.
Absolutely. So it's the Factories Act 1958, which is a colonial era statute, actually. And to be fair, at the time, it was probably befitting for that era because the main occupation then at the time was very much around manufacturing, production, etc. So it probably did suffice for that time. And of course, like you rightly mentioned as well, it was recently reviewed. Well, not recent, it was reviewed, last reviewed.
It was last reviewed.
Last reviewed actually in 2004.
Okay.
And you would also agree with me that from 2004 till date, this is now probably 25, 26 years on. Or yeah, 22, 23 years on, and things have changed. We're in the times where there's robotics, there's, things are changing. The landscape of the workforce is changing. We've got new generation of Gen Z, as it were, coming into the labor market, etc. So absolutely, it's evolved. And so that's why at the national level, which is a committee that I also consult for, that's the Committee for Safety Standards and Regulations at the House of Rep, we have done an extensive amount of work. And I firstly want to thank the leadership of the House to start off with. And you'll understand why I'm thanking the leadership of the House, because the bill that is being pushed at the moment, that's the 2025 bill, National Occupational Health and Safety 2025 bill that's being pushed, is actually being sponsored by the Deputy Speaker of House. That's going by Honorable Benjamin Kalu. So that tells you that this is something that is now on the front burner. This is something that is germane, and the leadership and the current administration as well, by extension, sees this as a priority.
Thank you. What also thanks to Benjamin Kalu, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, for coming up with this whole idea that everybody's now working on. We can imagine that anything that's been going from the 50s and then last reviewed in 2004 is going to have a few holes, as you just explained. What are the areas? I don't know. We don't have all the time in the world. So because of that, let me just hop step over that and go into what will this bill be doing that the one that it is going to replace was particularly woeful at?
Absolutely. So perhaps maybe not necessarily woeful. It was just, it's just dated, and so it's not applicable to it. The first thing this bill I forgot to also mention there are co-sponsors to the bill, which is my current chairman, Honourable Zacharias, David Zacharias. He's doing an amazing job amongst all the other co-sponsors of the bill. So permit me for not mentioning that earlier on.
David Zacharias. Absolutely,
Honourable David Zacharias. So I'm just making sure I do get, David Idris Zacharias. He's the chairman of the current committee for safety standards and regulations. But back to your question around what exactly is the distinction? What is this new bill seeking to resolve from what the Factories Act wasn't or isn't really doing at the moment? Firstly, it's even in the name in itself, and that's in the scope of coverage. The current Factories Act is very much limited to factories, and that is also registered factories. And we understand that outside of factories, we have many other workplaces, as it were. You know, you've got schools, you've got banks, you've got it goes on and on and on. But this actually was very, very narrow. The Factories Act is very narrow to just factory settings.
Factories.
Absolutely.
Yet there are banks now, there are schools now.
Absolutely.
Maybe some other ones that don't come to me immediately that can't really be classified as
we
factories.
have mining, we've got agriculture, we've got construction. There's so much.
And all of these would be affected by the proposed bill.
Absolutely.
And what is it? What is the proper nomenclature
for the bill? That is the Occupational Health and Safety. Occupational Health and Safety and Health Act 2005. That's what it is. Forgive me.
Occupational Health and Safety
Act 2005.
Okay. Occupational Health and Safety Act.
Yes, 2005.
2005. 2005.
Let me make sure I get it 100% right, because I have been...
Is that the one we're replacing?
That's the Factories Act is what we're replacing.
Yes. But 2005.
2025, pardon me. 2025,
so. Okay,
yes.
2025.
Yes.
Occupational Health and Safety Act 2025.
Correct,
is what you are working on.
That's what
now.
we're working on at the moment. Yeah, that's what we're working on.
So maybe you tell us, a few highlights of it, because I know how long these things can take and how detailed they can be. So what would be the highlights of this bill?
It would, like I said, seek to cover a wider scope of sectors beyond just even factory operations. It would look at consideration for rehabilitation, return to work, especially for employees who may have suffered injury or some level of diseases during the course of their occupation. There is something that we call return to work, and how do we phase them back in? So just because they've suffered some sort of injury or disability, there should still be a way where there's dignity still in labour that we give back to them. And so these are going to give considerations to how an employee can be rehabilitated back into the labour force.
Are you saying that the 2004 Act didn't contain this?
It didn't make reference to rehabilitation or even return to work after an injury.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So people were left to their own devices. Although it's in the past now, because I would have asked if we had all the time in the world. So what exactly did it address, if it was not addressing that, which anybody will tell you is one of the most important things? Factories
operations. But that said, we also have an agency called the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF.
Yes.
And oftentimes, which should be the way it works, is in the event where there's been an injury or an issue of an incident at work, they should be the compensation leg of the government that supports that rehabilitation as well. A lot of people don't tend to know about it. A lot of employers as well are not even subscribed into the scheme. It's actually ECA Act 2010 that drives that, where every employer must pay 1% of their employee total emolument into that fund, so that in the event where there is, a mishap at work, there is that money in the coffers to help them. But the good thing as well about this current scheme is, regardless of whether your employer also pays into it or not, you can actually have access to it as well.
I see. I can definitely see some of the areas in which it differs. Schools were not included then, but because you have workers too in schools, and it's quite topical out there now. How I wish that this act was finished and done with and was actually on the statute books, but it isn't. And so we have the the trauma, shall we say, of the way some teachers, reportedly have been treated. In fact, if memory serves me well, some of them are not yet back home.
Oh.
Does your bill, is there any way in which, in fact, I shouldn't even have to ask the question. It definitely will be affecting situations like that after it has been enacted. Absolutely.
I believe it was 2024 or last year that ILO declared health and safety as a fundamental
organization.
Absolutely, declared it as health and safety as a fundamental human right. Actually, so this bill that we are proposing is actually taking an approach of a rights-based, internationally aligned legal framework. So yes, it will deal with some of these things. I empathize sadly with the family of those who have significantly been affected by this current situation. However, like I said, with this bill being passed, absolutely, it would put a very comprehensive framework where organizations, including schools or any institution, has what we call a framework for occupational safety and a management system to be able to protect their workers.
And you said that you've been working on this from 2025. What's the estimated time of arrival?
This is why I'm hoping today this gets the attention of whoever needs to get the attention. Like I said, the National Assembly is doing a great job. It's gone through the first reading, it's gone through the second reading, it's also gone through public hearing. So we are actually reviewing.
First, second, public hearing.
Absolutely.
What's left to be done?
It should just be the final hearing. But before the final hearing, what we're trying to do is we've actually collaborated. The House Committee has collaborated with key stakeholders who obviously are major drivers to this. That's the like of NECA, the likes of Ministry of Labour and Employment, just key stakeholders, NLC, like everybody that plays a part in this. And so we've gotten their position paper on what the bill is to look at, and we're doing a harmonization of those position paper right now before it then goes back as a report to the House for final reading. And then we're hoping subsequently it goes to Senate for,
of course,
for it to be looked at Senate as well.
And then
the presidential assent. That's the most important thing. And I think, again, 2012, this is not the first attempt. As a professional, speaking on behalf of the professionals in Nigeria, we've tried so many years, I'm sure nothing short of 15 years to get this bill to see the light of day, an OSH bill to see the light of day. It was once passed through.
When you say OSH bill, that's a code you use.
Occupational Health and Safety, yes, apologies.
Every time she says that, just know that she's talking about Occupational Health and Safety,
yes.
But the abbreviation is OSH.
OSH, yes, okay. Exactly.
Just so you know, she might say OSH,
exactly.
and you're saying, what is OSH? She keeps on saying OSH.
Absolutely,
no.
Absolutely. No, it is Occupational Health and Safety. And I was going to draw the point that 2012, there was a bill that was passed. NAS passed a bill called the Labour Safety and Welfare Bill, but till date is still awaiting presidential assent. And so my worry and my prayer is that as we get this progressed, it actually does get to the attention of Mr. President. And we also pray that Mr. President gives his assent to this, so that way...
Why did you look at the camera?
I have to.
You're trying to...
I'm praying. This is a prayer.
You're hoping that Mr. President will,
yes.
But he's also very passionate about these
I agree.
kind of things.
Exactly.
When it comes to human safety and human capital development.
Absolutely.
That's very, very important.
Absolutely.
So, and you spoke about the insurance of workers in a different context. And so this is yet something else again. So there's a sense in which you see this as, well, these things don't come as fast as we would like, but you see this as part of the whole Tinubu, move.
Renewed hope.
Absolutely. Hope to now do right by workers. I hear that we have a call. Good morning. Who is on the line? How can you do that? They told me I had a call, and now they're saying you just lost the call. Oh dear,
it happens. I'm sure the caller will call right back.
Please try and call in again, because it's a very important matter. Workers' welfare, everybody's, even the International Labour Organization. You said,
absolutely.
In fact, you said that there have been investments all over the place for the purpose of this bill. ILO, its own contribution is going to be more financial than anything else, isn't it?
Beyond financial, actually, interestingly, the country director for ILO is also a sister friend of mine. Hi, Vanessa.
I understand
Okay.
somebody's
Yes.
back on. Good morning. Tell us your name, please. Hello? Oh, no, don't say it happened twice in a row. Hello. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So tell me your name, please.
I'm Chidi, calling from Kafanchan.
Chidi Kafanchan.
Oh, wow.
Our friend before. Good morning to you.
Up till now, we're still friends.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, so happy Salah celebrations.
Indeed. Eid Mubarak.
Good morning to the madam of the studio.
Yes. Okay. Mrs. Adegbola, you have a question? You were saying good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Thank you for coming to our program. I really want to encourage whatever that is going to be done.
Please continue.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Please continue. Chidi, we can hear you. Chidi, well, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. It's clearer now. So whatever that is going to be done in order to perfect the move, in order to put the Factories Act together, this will go a long way in creating job opportunities and enhancing productivity in this country, and at the same time, reducing the rate of poverty in the land.
Indeed.
I so move, and at the same time, I say, God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In fact, the Factories Act is going to be out of it altogether.
Absolutely.
It won't be called the
No.
In fact, this is why your effort, Occupational Health and Safety Act of 2025, it will be dated whenever the president signs it.
Well, 2025 is when it started its course. Yes.
The heading will be 2025.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. You know, but as Chidi was saying, we're going to get rid of the Factory Act, because if you had joined us then, she was explaining that that particular piece of legislation, is it, was more concerned with, well, it does itemize factory, and this that she's talking about goes beyond factories. In fact, factory is not excluded. It's just that many more, you know, crucial areas of our lives will now be covered by the law. Well, what do you say? He was saying that kudos to you and the committee and indeed Honorable Benjamin Carlo, you know, the Deputy Speaker, you know, kudos to all you guys working on it, because he seems to approve. I have another caller. Good morning. Tell us your name, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Hello.
Hello, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, the only thing we haven't heard is your name, but I can hear you. I can hear you.
Good morning,
good morning, sir. Tell us your name.
Sir.
All right, go ahead, please. Go ahead. I don't know what happened to that gentleman. Yeah, he wanted to do the Nigerian thing. That's how we are. We are social people. He greeted, but after greeting, I might greet him back. He didn't hear the greeting, and so that became a problem. If you can get back in, just be aware. As soon as you call in, you know, we've been doing this in the past 2 days or so. Please do us this favor of tell us who is calling first, so we know who is offering valuable comments to us. But that's the way it is for now. And just in case anybody else is joining, we had Chidi, and it was because of Chidi that, you know, we are emphasizing that it's not the Factories Act 2004. It won't be the Factories Act 2025. In fact, it's now going to be the Occupational Health and Safety Act.
Yeah, and even welfare, forgive me.
Welfare is in there somewhere.
Included as well, yes.
So
it's Occupational Health, Safety and Health Welfare Bill.
And then that your abbreviation was?
It's still the OSH bill.
OSH bill.
Yeah,
OSH bill.
it's still the OSH bill. It's still the OSH bill. But Chidi makes a very fantastic point around some of the key social impacts, you know, that this new bill would seem to achieve as well, which is eradicating poverty, right? Unfortunately, at the moment, we have instances where workers have been impacted during the course of their employment, and they have suffered whether injury or death, and their dependents, for example, are left unattended to. What happens to those kind of people? That's where we see perhaps, insecurity rise, there's poverty rise, there's theft and what have you. So all of these things does have a knock-on effect. And so essentially once we're able to implement this or get this bill passed, it would not only be meeting even national benefits or goals, it would also help to influence some of the sustainable development goals, which is eradicating poverty, good health, access to health, good health as well, because when we prioritize your health at work, that's where most adults spend most of their time. You're at work, give or take 8 to 9 hours or 10 hours a day out of 24 hours. So it's important that we ensure that that sort of environment is, conducive for your well-being, and that's your entire well-being, both physical and emotional and mental well-being. So yeah, he makes a very fantastic point.
Indeed. And talking about workers' welfare, women are taken care of very well, no matter how it is, because women, when it comes to maternity leave, they go on maternity leave. Nobody thinks about the man when it comes to maternity leave. And I brought that up because I wouldn't have been able to before, but I see that there are jurisdictions, there are countries where the man also is entitled to, maternity leave. I hope you people have put it in there that the guys too require maternity leave.
So that is part of labor law. It is part of one of the labor laws, which Occupational Health and Safety is also one of the labor laws, quite all right. But the one that speaks to that area, I'm sure, there's already provisions for that, but we've got to keep it in the confines of that. But speaking of pregnant women.
One moment, please.
Okay.
Yes, another caller, maybe third time lucky. Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sayuri.
Good morning.
Yeah, we thank God that today is Thursday. We are still celebrating the...
Is that... who is speaking? Mazi, I was saying that voice is Mazi Okorafor from Arochukwu.
Yeah, good morning, Mazi Okorafor from Arochukwu. Good morning, sir. Good morning, my sister in the studio.
Good morning.
Honestly speaking, I want us to look at this issue of the International Labour Organization law about this issue of employment. That if the federal agency is in a state or in a particular state, that level 1 to 3 to 4, that the people from that place should be given job as all this clerk's job. But you come to a place now, some people decide within their place, all these federal agencies now, they will go and bring their brothers from different angles to come and take up the employment. You see, to me, they are not keeping to the laws of the Factory Act we are talking about.
Okay. Now, meanwhile, Mazi, the Factories Act is on the way out.
But the existing ones, we agree that the Factory Act is to replace the Factory Act.
It is going to be replaced by the Occupational Health, Welfare and Safety Act of 2025.
Yes, they should also make sure that all these acts they are bringing in, that the workers, any injury sustained in the course of doing their job, that the employers must take good care of them, not abandon them. It's very, very important. But here in Nigeria, when you enjoy anything, they abandon you, just dump you aside. Nobody cares about you, which is not healthy. They should pick Mazu Crawford, my name from Aruchukwu. Good morning, sir. Good morning, my sister. Baraka de Salah to all our brothers and sisters.
Indeed, Baraka de Salah to you as well. Thank you very much, Mazi Okorafor, for calling in. The points that he brought up there were, what do you think about how can ILO come? Because he brought ILO into this, and we spoke about ILO. Well, we didn't speak about that. We mentioned it in passing, that it's also a key partner in all of this. And I remember when I had said that its contribution would have been financial, you had said it even goes beyond financial. please take it.
Absolutely. So like I said, the country director happens to be a very dear friend and sister of mine, Vanessa. So hi, Vanessa. I'm sure you get to see this. ILO has already done a great job, which is the ILO Convention 155, and that's the Occupational Health and Safety for all states that are participants into, that are signed in, and Nigeria is part of the community, you know, and so meaning that 1994, I think it was, Nigeria, it should be ratified in Nigeria. So they've already got something in place. And so from beyond financial, like I said, they do support with policy advocacy. And so I mentioned earlier on that the key stakeholders that we're currently collaborating with to harmonize the current bill, ILO is also a stakeholder in that to make sure that it's in alignment with what the international framework requires. Absolutely. But to go back to the last caller in terms of, you know, drawing attention to employer must take good care of their employees. I think he probably missed that earlier on, that there is provisions for that through the NSITF.
Okay, yeah.
So they don't, they're not meant to abandon their employees if they are actually subscribed to that scheme. So again, there's a huge drive here and a public announcement that I'm making that if there are any employers who are not subscribed to the NSITF or the ECA scheme, now is the time. And so employees as well, you can challenge your employers on this. Try and find out if they are subscribed to this scheme. It does go a long way.
NSITF.
Yes, that's the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund. Absolutely. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And you know, when we were talking about some of the, you know, conditions, favorable conditions for women, which nobody's going to begrudge women that. They do a wonderful job. But when I brought up the fairness matter, the balance matter, about men and maternity leave, you were going to say, but a call, you're going to say something about that, but a call, you know, took us away. So
paternity leave is also very important. And obviously, like I said, there should be a law, one of the other labor laws that speaks extensively to that. But in the context of the OSH, because I've got to bring it back to the context, is fathers should also be able to seek for this leave, and employers should be able to grant those leaves as well. It is something evolving, I suppose, in Nigeria. It's still an evolving space or culture, as it were. So again, we encourage the viewers who are watching, employers who are watching, to put policies in place when it comes to paternity leave and allow fathers to tie into it as well, to benefit from that.
Well, you know, I knew it was going to happen like this because this is a gigantic bill that we're talking about, and we've run out of time. But about workers' welfare, the one thing we take is that the Factories Act of 2004 has become inadequate with the passage of time, and so work has reached a very advanced stage at replacing it with a fresh bill, which is going to be titled something like Occupational Health, Welfare and Safety. You know, Act of 2025. You've done the first reading, second reading, and when do the public get a look in?
They've already done that. So we've had a public hearing as well, and different individuals, organizations, they've all shared the position paper. And then as of March this year as well, we had to call a key stakeholders meeting again just to get them to please submit their position paper. We want to make it a very comprehensive and inclusive bill so that way when it becomes law, all voices have been heard and thoughts have been taken into consideration. And so yes, it's now at the harmonization stage where we will be taking it to the House for final reading before it goes off to concurrence in Senate. In
the Senate.
Absolutely.
And then ultimately lands on the president's desk.
That's the prayer. That is a prayer. We've been driving this for, I mean, I know it says 2025, but work has been going on since 2024, as a matter of fact. So it will be quite heartbreaking if the 10th Assembly rounds up, you know, sometime next year and we still don't have this bill passed. It makes it no different from the one that went through in 2012. So in order to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself, we hope, because it stands to benefit the entire Nigeria, you know, as a whole. Once
the National Assembly can, you know, agree amongst themselves and get it to the desk of Mr. President, we'll then be able to face Mr. President. I don't know that anybody dares, but, you know, there's nothing we can do with writing articles about it and explaining, say, Oga, please help.
Yes.
You know, that kind of a thing.
And it supports his renewed hope agenda as well. The president is doing a fantastic job in the area of, you know, trade and investment. And who are the drivers of this trade and investment locally? It is the people, it is the citizen. And so we need to prioritize the workers' welfare.
And it's a pet love of Mr. President, human capital development. He's long been known that this has been a subject very, very close to his heart. So as soon as they get it there, once it concerns the Nigerian worker, no time will be wasted.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming along.
Thank you. I do want to ask that hopefully I can come back again, because it's such a big part.
It is.
And we need to break it down into pieces. There's the element of what's it called now? You know, still speaking on what the new provisions would be with the law. I think we haven't spent as much time to, you know, granularize, and I think maybe a series of it would be a good idea.
That's a lovely idea. You know, we can do this again, and so that we get bits, digestible bits and pieces of what's going on. Thank you very much, Funmi.
It's been a pleasure.
Mrs. Funmi Adegbola, she is a consultant to the relevant committee in the House of Representatives working on this. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.